Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm John, and this is Addicted to Fishing. And today, we're talking chatterbaits. I know I've put out a couple of videos on chatterbaits in the past, but I kind of wanted to go and dive a little deeper into them, kind of explain some of the differences, show you the ones that I throw, just to show you how serious I am about bladed jigs chatterbaits. 3,700 bucks, 3,600 bucks. Another 3,600 bucks with my micros in it and some other stuff. And I'll cover some of those in a minute. And then I've been running more of a day box, so I don't have to carry a whole handful of them. But there's a few, like 4 or 5 chatterbaits in here. So anyway, chatterbait's nothing new. Most everybody knows what the chatterbait is, has been throwing it. But a lot of people may not realize the differences in them and the different ways to fish them. I'll go over rod and reels with you as well. I'm going to start out with this one, see how it's rigged up. This is the newest guy on the market. This is the Chatterbait Evo. I've got a chatter spike on the back. I'm not going to rip that chatter spike off to show you the keeper on it. But it's a lot of the same components as the jackhammer. A lot of people are raving it to be the next jackhammer. They got nice blades on them. These are painted. Some of the jackhammers, like this one, has a black painted blade. This is a red blade, of course, on like a fire crawl pattern. One of the things that's different is it has these little side wings. One of the things I can say is it fishes a lot like a jackhammer, but it likes to stay down a little bit more. Doesn't rise nowhere near as much. I got a couple different rods here. I'll go over those in a minute. Rods, reels, line. I've got trailers, and then I got a handful of the ones that I use. So we'll start out here with the original chatterbait. These I think you can find for about $4.99. Great bait. It's got a totally different sound than a lot of the other chatterbaits. If you want to hear some of those comparisons, on YouTube there's a couple underwater videos that you can hear the difference in them. It's got a nice hook, which is a regular lead keeper, slip-on skirt. But that's a nice heavy-duty hook. Skirt's easily changed out. Nice blade. Typical chatterbait blade. Great all-around pick. Along that same lines, keep it in a red crawl as well. That's just original chatterbait. So that's just a couple of them. I keep my colors pretty simple. Try to go with like a bluegill, a black blue, a white, a chartreuse and white. And that'll pretty much get you bit all day long. The next one I'll cover is this guy. This is the cross eye. You can see it's got cross eyes. One of the unique things about this guy is you do get these two, if I can get them to show, the 2 wire weed guards that you can pinch or you can spread them. So it happens to be like a bluegill color. Got a gold blade. Got that snap on there. Nice quality hook again. Kind of like the Evo. The Evo's got a lead keeper down here. And it's got a wire keeper. This has a wire keeper here. And then a lead keeper on this side. It's a great bait. It's great for throwing around, lay downs, brushes, timber, things like that. It's a little, with these 2 little weed guards, believe it or not, it does keep it a little bit more weedless. I like throwing that around stumps. The next one I'll show you is the jackhammer stealth blade. This one just happens to be in white. It's got the what is that? The Yamamoto Zako on the back. But you can see it's just got a clear, really small, clear acrylic type blade on it. It does catch fish. I like throwing this. When I'm going in behind some people that, and my original chatterbait's not working, and a lot of people are throwing a jackhammer, so I can come behind them with that stealth blade and get bit. Then we'll go to the top of the line, or what everybody rivals is the best chatterbait on the market, and that's the jackhammer. That's what happens to be in black blue. Got that black blade. It's got a snap. All these, I think, have a snap, except for the original chatterbait, which I like the most of the size that I'll throw on these is a 3/8 ounce. It's got a really nice hook, double wire keeper. No doubt about it, the jackhammer gets bit. Along that lines of a full size, these I don't ever run a trailer with them. I'm not sure what these are actually called, but these are kind of the buckskin or buck hair. It's kind of like the hair jig of the chatterbait. Got that same nice blade. This one actually has that little cheap marble, double barbell type connection on it, just like the original chatterbait. This is a phenomenal bait, gets bit. This one is a step up, and it's got the holes in the blade, plus it's got some mylar and some other stuff in it, kind of along the same lines. Definitely gets bit. Great bait. And then we're going to go completely to the opposite extreme on this. Some of these, some people may or may not be familiar with, or they don't throw them. Along the lines of a full size, but a compact. I think this is called the chatterbait micro. And you can see the difference between it and a jackhammer, or even that and the original. It's got that small micro blade, premium snap, real nice light wire hook. It's just got that real, in my opinion, this is not the best keeper. You got to definitely put a little super glue around it to help hold it up there. But it's got a nice small hook. This is great for early spring, late fall. I'll throw this in the post spawn when you're finding a lot of small fry swimming around. Kind of match the hatch in the fall. You match the hatch with the shad from the shad spawn. But the micro is a great little addition. Next, we have the Willow Vibe. It's got that little willow leaf. It's got the snap. Small light wire hook on the back. And it has that wire keeper. Usually just run this with some kind of trailer on it. Great for smallmouth, walleye, sauger, white bass, hybrid bass. They all seem to eat that. Then the next one is the Flashback Mini. And I run this just the way it is with just a single trailer on the back. Again, it's got that snap. It's a great little bait. This is definitely a smallmouth killer. And it's a great white bass killer. I went up on the Maumee and fished this one. And this one with just a tad different color to it. Both in I think it's a 1/8 ounce. It's just that trailer on the back. I was flipping them back and forth. But I tore them up on the Maumee River, the white bass, with that. So guys, that's real quick the different chatterbaits that I use from Zman. I got a couple other bladed jigs that I'm not going to touch into because there's a ton of different bladed jigs out there. I'm just kind of going over these Z-Man products right now. Let's talk trailers. Let's go here first. Tried and true is that Yamamoto Zaco. Great little bait. I'm not going to take one out. I think everybody knows what the Zaco looks like. This next one, I got it in a black and blue. And then I've got an orange fire crawl. This happens to be from Skater Baits. Jerry Skates makes these. Great trailer. Definitely more on that Zaco profile. Next is a newer one that I've been using from Berkeley. It's called the Power Stinger. Great trailer, keeps a real nice tight action to it. It's not as wide as that Zacho. And then the next one, and I got a few different colors here: green pumpkin, smoky shad, and pearl, is the Z-Man razor shad. Those work phenomenal. Guys, if you're not familiar with some of the Z-Man products, that Elastec, it definitely stretches, and you're going through less of them, especially if you get on a hot bite. The next one, and I got picked these up: fire crawl, chartreuse white, pearl, and then my favorite color is this bad shad. The Z-Man Chatter Spike. It's got that great little tight action. It's becoming one of my favorite type trailers, these little pintail. And I'll show you, I got some of those at a different size too. Another option is the Zoom Salty Super Spook. This is in Smoking Shad. And then the Z-Man Streaks in Ice. Giving you a little different profile, but they definitely get bit. Now, when you're talking about the mini or the flashback mini, the micro and the flashback minis, I like this Berkeley twitch tail. I'll take one of those out for you. I like a lot of these pintail type guys. I don't see the color on this, but they call it the Pro Series Twitch Tail. Yeah, I'm not seeing the color right off the top, but you can see it here. It's kind of that spring crawl, that orange crawl with a chartreuse black and blue flake to it. Great to pair it up on that micro. Or run it on that flashback mini. Great little small trailer. Gets the job done. Again, it's got that real tight little action behind it. Staying on that micro size, you go to the TRD Hogs. This one just happens to be in black blue, but it's going to give you a little different presentation, a little different trailer. And then for the fluke style with that, I've got the Better Than Salt Tiny Fluke in Smoking Shad. I'll take one of these out for you. I like this one a lot on either one of those little micro rigs. You could do a Yum sonar minnow. Any of those little micro baits will work really good for you. And the last one that I like to use is the Mega Bass Hazedong in a 3-inch. This one just happens to be USA Goby. Any of those little small swim baits work really well. You get bit. It's a great little bait. Let's go over the rods that I'm using. Both of these I actually have tied up with a chatterbait on them. We'll start here. Got it inside the sleeve. This one's got that Evo on it. 14-pound mono. This is the Skeet Reese crankbait rod, Wright McGill rod. 7 foot, rated for 1/4 to 3/4. 10 to 17 pass line. It's a medium fast. And it's got a Shimano Canon on there. I believe that Canon's a 7.2-to-1. 150 size. Great little reel. I like these crankbait rods, or a rod that's got more of a parabolic bend, and definitely the mono with it. I tend to get a better hookup. The other one is it's an old school Mojo Bass. It's also the crankbait rod. I don't know if you can see it there, but this has got an old school Shimano Greenie. It's the Bantam Corrado. This one has a jackhammer on it with that chatter spike. Again, 14-pound mono. This is actually my best rod for throwing square bills. It's old, it's kind of wore out, so it's a little flimsier than normal. It makes a great chatterbait rod as well. So anyway, when I'm fishing these guys, what I like to do, cast it out, start that reel. You can reel it straight back in, just chuck and wind, chuck and wind, chuck and wind, chuck and wind all you want. Fishing it like a spinnerbait works great. Don't be fooled, it works great that way. The other good thing that I like to do is kind of fish it like I do a square bill or crankbait. Burn, pause, burn, pause, burn, 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 pause, pause. You know, kind of, and then twitch the rod. I get aggressive with that rod. Fishing it kind of like how I do a fluke. I'll throw it out, burn it, and I don't burn on a fluke, but reel it, pause, you know, ripping it. Get that crazy erratic motion out of it. Most of the time I find when I'm catching them and I got a good chatterbait bite, when I cast it out, one of the nice things about all these chatterbaits is they start up really fast or right away, which is critical, especially if you're throwing up around cover. You get that bait and that blade to immediately start vibrating. But when I'm reeling and I stop and I start again, either I'm seeing in my little bit of slack line, that tink, and I'm getting bit on that pause, or I'm getting bit when I'm ripping the rod or quickly cranking it again, and that erratic motion starts. That's what triggers these bites. And guys, what you're trying to do is you're trying to, you know, all year long I'll throw that chatterbait. And it goes into what I'm about to say. The thing you're trying to do is you're trying to create that reaction bite, that core program bite that all bass have. They're ready to feed. And if you could trigger that core natural instinct, they have no choice but to eat. They want to, you know, they're going to eat it to kill it, or they're going to eat it because they're hungry, or they're just going to eat it because that just triggered that. You don't have to find really aggressive feeding up bass to catch them on a chatterbait. You can kind of trigger that core bite to make them bite. Like I said, real pause, maybe a couple rips on the rod. I kind of mix it all up until I find what's working. One of the good things is if you find a school of bass and you can throw out and you catch one, quickly get that guy off, cast back in her. You can pick off pretty much the entire school if you get them all fired up. And again, by that erratic motion that you're given, you know, remember that if you cast it out and it's a quick boom boom, pause, rip, and they hit, when you cast back in, just keep repeating that. Guys, the difference really too on all these the standard size chatterbaits, from the jackhammer all the way back down to the basic chatterbait. I'm not here to tell you that a $4.99 chatterbait versus a normal price $17 to $20 chatterbait, one's going to catch more fish than the other. It really depends upon, one, what you're confident in, and two, what's being fished in your area. A lot of places around me, they're really heavily thrown with this jackhammer. So when I come back through and I throw that original, and when you go watch some of these underwater footages, you'll see this has a different tone to it. And if they're getting accustomed to, especially in that muddy to stained water, they can't see that bait that well, but they can hear that blade and they can feel that vibration. When you give them a different sound and a little different vibration, a lot of times it's nice to do that. It's like when I come through with these more of the hair jig, you got a solid blade, and then you got this blade with the holes in it. Difference being, this one will kind of put out more of a bubble trail. And now that I look at this one, I'm not sure if this is a Zman or if that's a Picasso or something else. But I threw it in the mix just because it's a great bait. I know this one's a Z-Man. This may be a Picasso. As you can see, it's got that little different head design that looks more like that Picasso shockwave type blade. It's been a few years since I bought those. I've got a few of them. Again, these you don't want to put a trailer on, but this one, it leaves that little bubble trail behind it. You're trying to give them something that they're not used to seeing. That's where that burn, pause, bite, ripping the rod, making that bait kind of do all kinds of crazy things. This is where that chatter spike comes in. That tail is just back there. It's not that big wandering Zaco or a boot tail, like a Kitech or something on the back will cause. You get that more real erratic. So when you're darting and zipping it, that chatter spike it's just back there. It's great behind that front blade that's going back and forth. Another thing that you can do with them, and I like to do, it just depends upon the area that I'm fishing. If I'm fishing one of the ponds where there's not 1,000 rocks on the bottom versus on one of the tailwaters that I go fish, I like to throw that chatterbait out, let it hit bottom, reel it, get the slack line out, pop it, reel it back to the bottom, pop it, and I keep it on pretty much a semi-slack, because a lot of times when I pop it up and it's falling back on that way back down, depending on how far I've kind of hopped it off the bottom, that's when I'm getting that bite. And the nice thing again with that instant startup on these, when it's on the bottom and you rip it up, that blade, you get another type of chatterbait, bladed jig, whatever, and that blade don't start up, it comes up, and then it starts to, you've missed that little bit of that blade action going up, and that could be the difference between getting bit and not getting bit. Especially if you're throwing them out and you're kind of just reeling them back, straight line, retrieving them back. You throw up there in 3 inches of water, you want that blade to start immediately, rocking back and forth. You don't want it to come through the water, past the strike zone, and then start that wobble. You got to have that immediate startup. So anyway, guys, it's a little further deep dive into the chatterbaits. I'm not going to say the crankbait rods are the only type of rods that you can use. There's a couple of medium heavy type rods I'll use. I like to fish them on mono, regardless of what type of rod I have. I like that little extra stretch. A lot of times when that bass comes up behind it to get it, I don't want to pull it out of its mouth before it gets a chance or just barely get it. I've found by trial and error on my own, this is what I have confidence in, this is what I've seen the best hookup ratio. When that rod kind of gives back and that line's giving back, a lot of times that bass has got that jig in its mouth like this. It's not way out here. So I pin them a little bit deeper, better hookup ratio. So anyway, guys, it's a quick little video. I'm trying to put out videos more often, and it's been kind of hard. So anyway, you want to hit that notification bell to be notified when I do put out a video. I was out on the water today. I came back. I'm working on I'm filming this one in my garage. I'm trying to make some room in the house for a guest for a little while. So my tackle room is going to be kind of preoccupied. But anyway, guys, as you can see, I'll just use that 3600 size box. Chatterbaits are the way to go. There's quite a bit of them out on the market. Look for sales. Don't be afraid of that $9.99 new Elite Evo. Like I said, when you're reeling it, it wants to stay down, no matter what kind of line you're using. Especially if you're using that mono floats, it wants to pull it up. That Evo's tracking down. It's staying down where I want it. It definitely stays down better than the original, and it stays down, in my opinion, better than the jackhammer. Jackhammers to me are great. You can find them on sale, and they do great. But again, you're getting a different sound. You're getting different. It's all little differences between them. Z-Man didn't really market that Evo well to let you know what the differences are in it. There's a couple other videos out there that are more detailed just on the Evo. I recommend you check those out. But anyway, guys, it's a quick little in-depth video on a chatterbait. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.